Hello, I'm Allie,
I'm Deb.
and welcome to another episode of Connected Conversations.
Hello and welcome to today's beautiful episode of Connected Conversation. This literally came up today as Deb and I were connecting from a 2 week hiatus that I had. I was on vacation and we were just, filling each other in. This conversation that we're going to have is really important. I think there's two sides to this, and they can go to both extremes, and I've experienced both. And what we're going to talk about is competition over collaboration. And we're going to direct this specifically maybe more for women because Deb and I met randomly. Well, not randomly, through my cousin. My cousin knows Deb from high school. My cousin is family, and we connected. And since then, we've obviously collaborated. We've created this podcast. We support each other's work in our business, in our craft. It's been such a beautiful relationship that I know I'm forever grateful for. However, on the other side, there's competition. We could have taken this relationship to a different turn and been like, oh, well, Deb's a coach, I'm a coach. There's similarities, and I don't want to work with you. So I'm going to leave it at that, how there's two sides of how this story could have been written. And Deb, I know you've had a personal experience. I'm curious if you want to share and just kind of like your feelings about it, because I feel as women, we should speak up about these things and talk about maybe different perspectives of how can we be more collaborative versus looking at each other like competition.
Yeah. So as I've been rebranding, LinkedIn has kind of been my connection, making new connections, and I've been really blessed by men and women alike who are like supportive and cheerleaders. And I've met some, like I connect with people on a regular basis now, just checking in because they want to support me, and I want to support them, and they genuinely care. And it's funny because really we're like strangers. Like a month ago, I didn't know some of these people, and yet they've turned into beautiful friends. And that's the whole premise of LinkedIn, is to make connections. It's not a salesy thing. It's not out there to like always be poaching people and hopping into people's DMs, because I don't like that. I want to make genuine connections. And so I reached out to a lady who does the same thing as me. I follow a lot of coaches too, just, to be inspired by them, to learn from them. And I just sent her a message introducing myself and what I do, and just talked about collaboration. And her response was, thanks. I don't think I'll be your biggest cheerleader, because we do the same thing. And I was just, I was shocked, because well, first of all, I know the rules of the universe, and you want to support other people. Like that's high energy, and you want to collaborate with people, and you want to learn from people, and you want to grow from people. So I was honestly dumbfounded, and obviously it bothered me enough because I told you about it, and I told a couple other people about it. I'm like, I can't believe this. Just even as a coach, that's one thing. We talk about celebrating wins, we talk about supporting one another, and I just couldn't believe that this was coming from a coach. So yeah, I guess it kind of put a bee in my bonnet for a little bit, but I don't want to also surround myself with those types of people, to be honest. I want to surround myself with great people who want to learn and grow from each other, and want to collaborate like you and I have. And yeah, we're both coaches, but we're a little bit different, and you and I have talked about collaborating in the future on different projects. So it's been amazing to me, men and women alike who are willing to support me, and like my biggest cheerleader, and giving me tips and tricks on how to be better, and really just like leaving those weeds where they belong, in the weeds. I'm looking for people who want to cheer me on and support me, and I'm willing to do that for them too.
Yeah, it's I think when I started my coaching and was looking for people, I was so fortunate to find various different communities that it was collaboration. Even if coaches were closely maybe related, Um, I think coaching in the craft is a lot like human behavior. There's so much nuance behind it. Like Deb's experience and her modalities of how she coaches is very different than my experience and the modalities of which I've chosen. And there's definitely intertwining.
Yeah, when I heard that, my heart just sank for that woman. Really, I feel I have been in that space before with scarcity, with worry, with doubt, with fear. And to me, that's what it screams, in my own personal opinion. And again, like I my heart just sank. I was like, that's really sad that in a world where, there's much adversity for women, I think we're making great strides to say like, oh, I won't be your biggest fan. And not to say that you have to be like number one cheerleader, though there's been various coaches or different women that it's like, wow, we can all rise together and help the world like increase in vibration. How powerful is that? So I feel for her. Like if that's a space that she's in, like cool, like go do your thing. You can be successful. Though I feel that journey of being alone and not supported is so lonely. And it's very scarcity mindset. Like if we're thinking abundance, I mentioned it before, like Deb and I play in a similar space, though we complement each other in different ways where it's just not my specialty or Deb's specialty. You get to know us here as podcast hosts of our own flavor that we bring to life. And I think that's what could be highlighted in a situation like that. Because on the other end, I have some women and I count them, and I've been supported by like women in tech, women in leadership groups that I've been part of. And they're the ones like liking every post, coming to every like webinar when I started, and they continue to share my vision and what I want to create. And I feel like that's the power of an empowered woman, is knowing that like, hey, Deb, if your crown's a little bit crooked, I'll let you know instead of letting you walk out. And again, like I've had some other women like, hey, you spelled something wrong on your LinkedIn, which is like, oh my goodness, could be embarrassing. Though I'm like, wow, thank you for letting me know. And again, I feel like that's a space that I want to play in, is very much collaborative, community, supportive, because I have been in the space of like lack, maybe uncertainty, scarcity. And that isn't that, like you said, it's like low vibing.
I think we've all been there when you start something new, or especially as an entrepreneur, a solopreneur trying to get something off the ground. You see people that are successful in their own right, and you can get to that space, right? Like you get to that space where it's like, I want that, but I'd rather be inspired by that than looking at them as competition. And, for anybody who's ever been in a room of coaches or personal development, the ripple effect of just that high vibe is contagious, right? And you get into that space where I'm celebrating your win. Maybe I haven't got a win this week, but I'm celebrating your win. So that already raises, that's a terrible, raises my vibration, raises my vibration. And there's something to be celebrated in that. And I think, especially as women, you were talking about, we're making so many strides. Why would you want to like shift the crown of somebody else? Like celebrate them and see how you can learn and grow and collaborate with each other. Or, maybe there's not, but still celebrate them. Like we've made so many strides. And I think as coaches, I certainly respect and admire so many people, and I'm learning so much from other people too. And I'm not afraid to ask questions. And I think that's how we can learn and grow from each other. Ali, you're much more of the time you have an open or defined throat chakra, and you speak effortlessly, and I watch you, and sometimes sometimes I'm like, I want to be more like you, that you can just hop on the camera and just go with where your thoughts are. And I've talked to speaking coaches and other coaches who do a lot of that thing, and people are very willing if you're willing to learn from them, they're willing to give you their time. And I've been really grateful just in my short time on LinkedIn and really making amazing connections. So I really encourage everyone to celebrate each other and, reach out to that person and make genuine connections and find your tribe, because they're out there. And I think it's a beautiful thing when we can all come together. So I think on that note, find your tribe, find your people that are gonna bring you up and support you. And make sure you catch us on Monday as we kickstart your week. We are going to be switching over our podcast. We're rebranding into Coffee and Stilettos. So that will be coming out next week. And we are super, super excited to bring you new, different content, and even having some guests on our show. So make sure you check us out, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for being with us, and have a great weekend. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the show, please share with your friends and rate and recommend on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. There will be links to more great resources in the description.